Përshëndetje. Sot në mbar botën diskutohet, analizohet dhe hetohet për një skandal global agjenturor, ku përfshihen fijet e KGB-s me agent të dyfish, në të cilin është i përfshirë, i përmendur dhe me një rol themelor Edi Rama. Ndryshe nga bota, në Shqipëri kërkohet mbulimi dhe jo hetimi, kërkohet heshtja dhe jo diskutimi, kërkohet dizinformimi dhe jo informimi. Në këtë video ju tregoj vetëm disa nga qindra kronikat që po transmetohen sot në mediat globale. Ju ftoj ta ndiqni.
He's accused of concealing hundreds of thousands of dollars he got from a former employee of an Albanian intelligence agency while he worked for the FBI.
McGonigal pleaded not guilty, but he's facing additional charges in Washington, D.C. that accuse him of taking $250,000 from another foreign intelligence agent while McGonigal was still working for the FBI. And George, in exchange for that payment, federal prosecutors say he opened a criminal investigation on a U.S. citizen. George?
This is just an astonishing abuse of that trust when you're talking about somebody who's not only betraying his office and putting Americans at risk in terms of public safety here in the U.S. He is actually doing this on behalf of foreign adversaries. And this is somebody who, through his job, was cleared, I'm sure, at the very highest levels.
We are following the absolutely shocking arrest of former FBI agent Charles McGonigal. He served as head of counterintelligence for the FBI's New York office. NBC News reporting, quote, federal prosecutors say McGonigal laundered money, violated sanctions against Russia while working with a Russian oligarch, Oleg Deripaska, and while still at the FBI, he took hundreds of thousands of dollars from a foreign national and a former foreign intelligence official. McGonigal.
In New York, McGonigal is charged with hiding $225,000 he received from a former Albanian intelligence officer while McGonigal was still inside the FBI. And in Washington, McGonigal is charged with money laundering and violating Russian sanctions. He's alleged, after he left the FBI, to have accepted secret payments from the very Russian oligarch he'd investigated.
They indicted him today in D.C. For taking hundreds of thousands of dollars from an Albanian intelligence officer while he was on the job at FBI headquarters in D.C. They also indicted him in New York, where he's charged with being on Oleg Deripaska's payroll, and also with taking steps to hide it, because, of course, Deripaska is sanctioned by the U.S. government, so nobody in the United States should be in business with him anymore.
U.S. government says while still in the FBI, McGonigal allegedly worked with a former Albanian intelligence officer and an Albanian employed by a Chinese energy conglomerate. And he had an ongoing relationship with Albania's prime minister and got the FBI to investigate a U.S. citizen lobbying against the prime minister's political party. Federal prosecutors also say that after he retired, McGonigal allegedly worked on behalf of sanctioned Russian oligarch Oleg Deripaska, despite having investigated him at the FBI.
Oleg Deripaska is a Russian businessman the U.S. Treasury Department sanctioned in 2018, accusing him of ties to the Kremlin, money laundering, extortion, racketeering, and ordering the murder of a businessman.
But that wasn't just it. He was also charged yesterday by prosecutors in Washington, D.C. with failing to disclose $225,000 payment he received from a former employee of an Albanian intelligence agency, and that payment was while he was still in that top post at the Bureau.
Wow, while he was still doing this work.
He was still in charge of counterintel. He received this payment, and he also, according to the indictment, failed to disclose trips he took to Europe with this individual who was a former intel official in Albania, and also failed to disclose meetings he had with the Albanian prime minister and other politicians overseas. That's all required when you work for the FBI, particularly in that position with that type of clearance.
And he
This is nuts. Comey puts a Russian asset in charge of the DNC hack and the Russia investigation, and we just found out.
If they put this in a movie, you'd turn it off immediately saying, there is no way, this is possible. This is just, this is comedy, not drama. This is unserious. The fact that you had this guy pursuing the Trump administration, I suffered under this too. For 2.5 years with the Russia hoax, it's hard to know where to begin because it is so outlandish. And you got it right, though. Director Comey has a lot of questions to answer about how he picked this guy, why he picked this guy. And did he not know what this guy was up to?
Where is Comey?
Siç e shikoni, nuk është opozita që akuzon Edi Ramën për përfshirje në një aferë agjenturore, por dosja hetimore e Shteteve të Bashkuara të Amerikës. Në bazë të kësaj dosje, Edi Rama ka paguar një agent të dyfish për të ekzekutuar opozitarizmin dhe bashkë me të dhe demokracinë në Shqipëri. Për të njëjtat shërbime, agenti McGonigal është paguar dhe nga oligarku i Putinit, që është investitor strategjik i Edi Ramës. Rama dhe Oleg Deripaska kanë të njëjtat forma të mbajtjes së pushtetit, që burojnë nga mbytyja e kundërshtarit. Në një vend normal, sot drejtësia do të kishte reaguar dhe hetuar, por këtu ka një heshtje të turpshme. Partia Demokratike dënon këto akte tradhtie të Ramës ndaj Shqipërisë, pluralizmit dhe aleatëve të përhershëm të Shqipërisë, Shteteve të Bashkuara, të cilat Edi Rama nuk i informoi për kërkesat e agentit rusofil për oligarkun e Putinit të sankcionuar, për krime nga pastrimi i parave deri tek vrasja e një biznesmeni. Partia Demokratike siguron aleatët që vendi ynë dhe populli jon mbeten të palëkundur në çuarjen përpara të agjendës euroatlantike, e cila çliron botën nga diktatura dhe fijet agjenturore të KGB-s. Sot, të gjithë duhet të bashkohemi për të rrëzuar Edin e Putinit, i cili kërkon asgjësimin e pluralizmit për të rikthyer regjimin sovjetik të Enver Hoxhës. Të bashkuar do t'i dalim zot Shqipërisë. Faleminderit.